for Karama.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to support this important bill. Madam Speaker, a common theme of this government is emphasising that many of the benefits offered to Territorians are a privilege, not a right. A privilege, not a right. Now, for example, we definitely consider public housing, bail, and certainly parole to be a privilege, and there needs to be consequences for breaching these privileges. Madam Speaker, I consider it an absolute no-brainer that we should enable our police to enter premises to arrest individuals in breach of parole, including persons whose parole has been revoked, ensuring those that violate their conditions are effectively taken into custody. But, Madam Speaker, today I want to focus on the domestic violence order provisions of the bill. Let's be honest. I believe every member of this Assembly, be they government, opposition or independent members, absolutely abhor domestic violence and are committed to reducing it in our society. I think that's a genuine theme across the whole of the Parliament. And I have heard passionate speeches by various members, including from the member for Gwadja last night, sharing personal experiences of how domestic violence and its flow-on consequences have impacted on theirs and their family and friends' lives. Can I also say that, sadly, I come across domestic violence and its terrible consequences on a regular basis when I walk around my electorate of Karama. For example, last year I was accompanied by my colleagues, the Minister for Housing and the members for Fanny Bay and Wanguri, in distributing food with Mr Tajinder Singh and his Sikh family food van to the vulnerable people of Karama and Malak. During that visit, we laid a wreath of condolence outside one of the public housing units in Fawcett Court, Malak, where an Aboriginal sister girl had tragically been murdered in a domestic violence incident a few days earlier. And further tragedy, a number of other domestic violence murders occurred in the same neighbourhood within a 1-month period. Madam Speaker, I've also visited the Darwin Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Women's Shelter in Malak with the Minister for Domestic Violence, and we heard firsthand how they support the victims of domestic violence, and they have many. And can I also say that a number of times I've directly intervened to stop women being attacked by their menfolk in various parks and streets in the neighbourhood, stepping in to say this is totally unacceptable behaviour. Madam Speaker, when we look at the crime statistics for the Greater Darwin-Palmerston region on a month-by-month comparison, we can see that when we compare January 24 to January 25 statistics, there has been a reduction in a number of areas. For example, house break-ins are down by 44%. Commercial break-ins down by 9%. Property offences down by 18%. And robbery down by 77%. And all assaults down by 18%. Now, these figures are pleasing, and it just makes me acknowledge the great work of our dedicated police to help achieve this reduction. However, Madam Speaker, in the spirit of honesty, sadly the same statistics show that domestic violence-related assaults have increased by 27%. And it is imperative that we do everything to turn this around, and I know our government is committed to doing so. And this bill empowers our police to take direct action to help reduce the risk of domestic violence by enabling them to conduct alcohol and drug testing of individuals subject to domestic violence orders, or DVOs, on private property. Essentially, police will be able to enter a property's yard or driveway to conduct compliance testing, reinforcing measures to protect victims, and I emphasise victims, and prevent further harm.
Member for Karama, I'm sorry, it is now lunchtime.
Thank you.
You can continue your comments at a later time.